Welcome back to the 12 Days of Whiskey. Today is day 9. I am Bologna, and I am here with a very special bottle, a very festive bottle. I've got the green wreath in the background, and that red wax just pops right in front of it. This is Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. This is Maker's Mark first, foray into limited age stated whiskeys. And if I were to give it a title, I think it would be like an allocated, or not even allocated, but limited release rookie of the year. Maker's Mark Cellar Age is a special blend of aged barrels, 13% 11-year whiskey, 87% 12-year whiskey. And what they say, it's obviously the oldest Maker's Mark release ever. It's their first age stated release. And then it is aged in a limestone temperature controlled cellar where they basically grab barrels from their standard Maker's Mark release. And once it hits their taste profile or their taste vision, I know Makers is big on saying taste vision. Once it hits that, then they're put in this limestone cellar for a specific amount of time where it's aged. And just like obviously you don't want to judge a book by its cover, but this bottle right here might be the best looking Maker's Mark bottle ever. Not might be, it is. It is a sexy bottle. It's got like this etched marker looking aspect to it. It's a simple label. If you I don't know if the camera will tell, but like right in between the cellar aged, it's got the Maker's Mark limited edition kind of like in raised font. It's a beautiful looking bottle. And obviously, the red wax is famous in and of itself. I do like people, sometimes turn their heads on a lot of whiskey companies using the dipped wax, but in Maker's case, it's iconic and it looks great. So this was something I was able to try at a tasting event at Warehouse Liquors in Chicago, along with the head bum in charge. And I remember the first time I nosed it. Tremendous nose. One of the best smelling whiskeys of the year. You get like this cream savor vanilla, like right off the top, like it's abundant. Caramel, like a buttercream frosting, maybe like a buttery Eggo waffle, if you will. And if that's obviously Maker's Mark is a wheated whiskey. I don't know if I'm getting like some of the wheat to make it smell like a waffle, but regardless, it smells tremendous. I don't know why I keep saying tremendous, but I love it. This is a home run from Makers. Just waves of vanilla and caramel and like that buttercream, almost like a frosting from like a Nothing Bundt Cakes. Do you know that that company? It's fairly popular. Like a buttercream. There's still like vanilla frosting to it too. There's a lot of vanilla in there. Right at the end, you get a lot of cherry, a lot of red fruit, like cherry, red berry. Um, and that lingers up into the finish. The finish itself is like it's a 12-year oldest Maker's release ever, but you don't get much oak. The oak is there and ever present, but it's not over oaked. There's not too much of like a wood tasting notes to it. It's there just right at the back end. And then it's just like velvety. It's really good. I noticed it. I had a sip right before I started setting up my recording, and it lingers. It lingers for a long time. It's long lasting. The whiskey itself, it's viscous. It's got a great mouthfeel to it. There's not much. I mean, I'm not picking any nits here. It's a really, really good bottle of whiskey. So MSRP 175. If you were to ask me, is it worth this much money? I would say yes. I think being that it's the first foray into limited edition whiskeys or higher end whiskeys for Maker's Mark. I talked to the head bum in charge. I think this bottle for them, um, it's basically their version of like a Four Roses LE, maybe even like a birthday bourbon, BTAC, all of those type of releases where it's like a yearly hyped up thing. This is their first release at it. And for it being their first release, they knocked that out of the park. I'm excited to see what comes of next year, the 2024 release, whether it be a different type of blend or a different age, like or higher or lower, whatever they do. I have a feeling it's going to be awesome. So they have announced. I know people were questioning whether it will be a yearly release. I got it on good authority that these will be coming out um, every year. So yeah, that's my number 4 whiskey of the year, Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. I think it's a great, great bourbon. Um, if you're able to find it, I mean, he's obviously not able to find it at MSRP anymore once it released, but at a tasting, at a liquor store, like tasting or a bar, restaurant, anything like that, would recommend 100%. So I talked about having some breaking news along with this Maker's Mark Cellar Age review. And that is that once again, in conjunction with Greene Valley Wine and Spirits, we as the Bourbon Bums have been asked to make a Maker's Mark private selection pick for them. And we just did that 2 days ago. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. We are very excited about it. I don't want to knock any other process because we loved the Knob Creek process of picking the barrel and the NULU, but it's safe to say the Maker's Mark private selection process is the most extensive and thorough process of picking a private selection or barrel pick possible. It was fun. I'll go more into like deep diving that process once the bottle is in our hands, which should be sometime in the spring. Hopefully, we get it before the first Whiskey at Comiskey tailgate for the White Sox games. But if not, no worries. We will be sharing it throughout the year at White Sox games and at all of our events. Just a little tease for you guys. You guys know how much of a fan I am of the BRTO2 wood finishing series. This was one of my favorite whiskey releases of last year. Maybe one of my favorite whiskey releases ever. And whenever I drink this, I get straight. So this is my last bottle. I got a couple and I've been just housing them. I get like a melted Snickers bar to it, like just melted caramel and chocolate and nougat and peanuts. And I love like this dessert in a glass. And it's safe to say we tried to get our private selection right around that same profile. It's gonna be something special. We're very excited about it, and we can't wait for you guys to try it. So thank you so much to everyone at Maker's Mark, and thank you so much to Greene Valley Wine and Spirits. So they've been great partners of ours for all of the Bourbon Bum picks. And we can't wait for that one to be for sale because it's a special bottle and I'm very excited about it. So that is day 9. I've got 3 days left. I'm going to be counting down my top 3 whiskeys of the year. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you tomorrow for another 12 days of whiskey. Cheers, everybody.